Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining me on another JordanCon interview. Today, I am interviewing Richard Fife. I'm sure some of you know who he is. He directed a writer's track at some convention some of you guys might have heard of. You know, JordanCon. He's the vice chair and director of programming on MultiverseCon, and he's also the editor of the JordanCon anthology. So I'd like to welcome Richard. Hello.
Hi, thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
Yeah, excellent. So I hear that you are a huge fan of Scotch and puns. So I also am a huge fan of Scotch. One of my favorites is Talisker, and I'm just wondering what one of your favorites is.
Uh, I tend towards the stuff that's sherry aged, the malty with the sherry finish. So
Mm-hmm.
Glenmorangie La Santa is a common one, or Dalwhinnie or Balvenie Double Wood.
I like Balvenie.
Yeah,
I don't think I've had the other two.
I actually got to visit Balvenie in Scotland. That's where I got my love of Scotch.
I mean, that's a good place to get your love of Scotch.
Yep,
At the source.
exactly. Paired with hot chocolate of all things, and actually went really well
Oh,
for
weird.
tasting. Yeah.
Okay, that sounds really weird, but I'm sure, like a lot of things that sound weird, they do actually taste really well
Yeah,
together.
they do create a very interesting complement to each other.
And they're both liquid, so like,
Yeah,
huh.
yeah. So say you take a little drink of your hot chocolate, and then you take a little bit slip off your dram, and it's like, oh, okay. Not at the same time. Like let the hot chocolate just be on the palate.
Okay,
But
so similar to having like a dark chocolate and wine.
exactly.
Okay, okay. Well, that's interesting. I might have to try that sometime. Um, so puns. I'm a big pun person. Do you have a favorite?
Honestly, I might have to demur on this one. My pun game has been drained lately.
You know, there
Uh,
has been something getting in the way of a lot of creativity a little bit lately. I think that
so
sometimes the best puns are the ones that are like off the fly.
yeah, it's the situational puns are the ones I like. The punny jokes are okay, but it's I love making my kids groan with just having that
Like,
moment of
oh
inspiration at the dinner
man,
table.
you're not
My
my
16-year-old
dad.
just looks at me
Ugh.
and goes, "That's when I know I hit it right."
That's when you know you've got a real good pun.
Yep.
The eye roll.
Yeah.
So I see your background is this really cool map, and this is your book you're working on, correct?
The
Or is
book
it finished?
it's finished.
Oh,
We're in proofreading right now, so there's just looking for the occasional typo and stuff like that. But otherwise, it's ready to go, coming out at JordanCon.
oh, excellent. What a
Yeah.
great debut. So you describe it as a Gaslamp Fantasy. Can you explain to me what Gaslamp Fantasy is?
So in broad terms, Gaslamp Fantasy is steampunk with magic.
Okay.
In the code words for marketing. In mine, it's more kind of fantasy with steampunk aesthetics, though. It is taking place on another world, so it's not in Victorian London. It's not gears and steam engines,
Okay.
but it is almost Napoleonic era style ships that fly, and just a bit of that Victorian aesthetic. But there's mages. There is not gunpowder. Gunpowder was supplanted by magic. So it's there's no guns, lots of sword fights,
So
especially in zero
magic and
gravity.
swords.
Yes, magic swords, but airships. Magic is treated like a science.
Didn't you also kind of say that it's like Sky Pirates?
It is.
Yeah.
It's the opening scene takes place with following Captain Ellie Nivka and her group of corsairs, pirate hunters,
Mm-hmm.
and they have found their mark, their bounty that they're currently working on, and it's all in zero G because just part of the way this world works, and you can actually see it from the map. Like all the different land masses are separated
Yeah.
because you can't directly travel from one continent to another. You have to go into a separate dimension, basically, kind of wormhole into this endless sky where there's no gravity. There's air, but no gravity. and that's where a lot of the combat and action take place. And so this is almost like a spaceship battle as
Uh-huh.
they're rotating around each other and doing zero-G combat maneuvers, but then also fighting on the deck of a ship and swords clanging.
Yeah. That's very unique. I haven't heard of anything really like that before. How did you kind of come to this? What was the inspiration for this idea?
The inspiration, it actually really started off with that this book was originally going to be a space opera. It was going to be a science fiction space opera. And I decided instead that I just really like the aesthetic of steampunk and fantasy more. But I still wanted to keep the main plot in the story,
Mm-hmm.
which is that the way that these landmasses are interconnected, something is destroying that, and the main character is getting entangled in what's going on with that. And so it was a concept of the entire name, Conflict Born, comes from this is a world that has one nation, the
Yeah.
great and glorious Turn Empire, and it is generally at peace. There's piracy and crime, but there's not war. And some people in the empire feel that this has stagnated the world. And so they want to reignite conflicts
Right.
to try and kickstart innovation and the such.
Because everybody has become complacent in
Exactly.
how everything has been.
Yep.
Oh, interesting. And so the main characters are the ones driving the conflict.
Actually, they're not.
Oh.
The villain is the one that's trying. That's the villainous thing. And
So
the
our
main
main
character,
characters actually like the status quo.
oddly enough, no. The main character
Okay.
hates the status quo, but doesn't like the way that this other person's going around it.
Okay.
It is a book very steeped in social justice.
All right.
The main character, Ellie, is of
Mm-hmm.
minority ethnicity in the world,
Mm-hmm.
and she knows that it's a crap life, that there's just a lot of social inequity in this world, but
Uh-huh.
she has kind of come to just accept that this is the world. The great and glorious Turn Empire does not change. She doesn't love it, but she only can do as much as she can. And so while she would love to see the whole thing burn down, she doesn't want it to burn down in such a way it's just going to be replaced by something just as bad.
So in a way, the villain has inspired her to push a different type of conflict potentially, as opposed to the conflict that he is or they are trying to change the world with. Not really.
In so much as she's hunting him, it comes down to a lot of personal motivations. She is not trying to get involved in the games of nobles and emperors. She just wants to be able to get back to living the life that is as free as she can have it.
She's
being
kind of
a
thrust
captain.
into the position of
Yeah.
this that she didn't really want.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
there are moments when she is tempted to switch sides. It is more. There's this, maybe this guy has a point.
That's an interesting concept. I always enjoy it when, in novels, writers give me the opportunity to have sympathy for the bad guy in a way,
Mhm.
and then you're like, hey, do I want to switch sides?
Yeah, exactly. And continuing on, book two, which is written, book two is actually written
Oh,
and
wow.
off to the editor, which is called Conquest Earned, is book two. And
Is this going to be a duo or?
at
do you
least a
know?
trilogy.
Oh, okay.
At least a trilogy, potentially a full series.
Excellent.
I have plenty of places and stories that I think I could tell with this set of characters. Especially there's a dichotomy between Ellie, who is the viewpoint character for the entire series,
Mm-hmm.
and then her romantic interest, who is a noblewoman that was raised in privilege and is also a magician, but is trying to be better than the life that she was raised in. And there's plenty of conflict of their cultures and viewpoints hitting. and
Well,
it's
and class, obviously.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
there's uh, a lot of social commentary, to say the least.
Yeah.
Although it wasn't like I was going into this to be like, I'm going to argue about it. It's like I went in to tell a fun story, and that just
It
kind
just
of
kind of
was the
evolved
natural.
this way. Yeah.
Yeah, those were the themes that just happened.
That's really great. It sounds very interesting. I'm excited that book 2 is already done and it could be a trilogy or maybe a whole
Yeah,
series. That's how exciting for you.
it is. I'm currently on a 3-book contract with Falstaff, so there's going to be a book 3. It's just the question of, am I going to try and wrap it up? It's not going to be a clean bow. There's just no way with where I'm leaving book 2. But
Excuse me, sorry.
there's just no way I'm going to be able to do that with book 2. But or how book 2 ends.
Yeah.
But it's
how much
just
is left for book 3,
yeah.
that'll be.
Yeah, it's with the book 3 is am I going to call this just the ending of the story, and it's obviously not done. I could revisit it at a later time.
Yeah.
The world is still open, or is it going to be nope, and there's going to be a book 4? I'm going to leave it on a cliffhanger, and then there's going to be book 4.
Ooh, evil.
Yep.
Cliffhangers.
That's how you get people to buy the next book.
Yeah, it's true.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of switching gears a little bit, but I wanted to ask you about being an editor for the anthology. Does being an editor help, like being on both sides, being a writer and an editor, do you feel that they give you, does it kind of help you as a writer to see both sides of editing and publishing and all of that?
That's a good question, and I do believe it does. Especially when, like me, you're small press instead of. But even if you're one of the big New York houses, or if you're indie publishing, self-publishing, knowing that more or just as much work happens after the book is done being written is enlightening. Getting to have seen the process of developmental edits, and then line edits, and then copy edits, and then proofreading, which we've done with the anthology.
Yeah.
It's been just a very eye-opening experience, which was my goal with the anthology. It was to give not just myself as an editor, but also all of the non-guests that got into the anthology, because half the anthology stories are reserved for people who have not been guests of the con, but have been attendees. To give them that experience of going through, no, this is professional. This is the professional process. This is the editing process. This is the proofreading process. And now here your name is on an actual real book with an ISBN, and it's published.
Right. Which is huge for some people, like
it is,
who haven't been given the opportunity or the chance. So that's I mean, that's an amazing part about the anthology, personally. Yeah. So do you think that, does it kind of change how you write as a writer, knowing all of those steps after you finish your book? This is going to be totally cut, or this is just so much work for the editor or the publisher to be looking through. Do you find that has changed how you write? Or do you not really take it into...
I don't think so much in the writing process, but I think it does really inform how I talk with my editor. It's like I have empathy for them. They're not just the evil person with a red pen.
Yeah.
I can understand why they're saying, when they say this needs to be changed in such a way that it doesn't sting as much. I guess just
That's
to understand that
they're having empathy for them. Yeah.
And then also understanding that there's some hills to die on, and there's some that it's like, no, this is the way it's going to be, because that's how my editor is going to be able to market the book. And again, it's not always like this character needs changed. The hill that I lost was, I typically use the word towards with an S. When I am writing, they went towards the barn. And that's a Britishism, apparently. And Style Guide for the House is we use Americanisms. So I had to change 80% of the places I used towards, because I apparently did write toward in some places, but I had to change the majority of my towards is to toward. I tried to
what a
fight for it,
fun
but then,
little quirk.
yeah,
Like, it's
yeah.
interesting too that British and American is going to be totally different if you have like isms in different.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, you can't use that in American editing. It's like, what?
Yeah, exactly. It's unless the book has very explicit reasons to use Britishisms, such as a person's dialogue,
Right.
or if you happen to be a British author like A.J. Hartley, he can probably get away with it.
Probably.
But it's just there's certain things that I need to trust my publisher on because they know the market.
Yeah.
And they just know that there's certain things you do just to keep it clean.
In theory, they have your best interest in mind.
In theory.
In theory.
Yes. Well, and if they only get paid if you get paid. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Which is why they should have your best interest.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I was wondering if there was one thing that you wish either young Richard or other aspiring authors should know.
Yeah. I've been actually thinking about this recently, especially with a post that David Coe put on his blog about being able to take criticism. And the big thing I would say is the writing process is going to change you at a fundamental level in a way you didn't expect, and you should not resist that. The biggest toolkit in a writer to become a good writer, I think, is empathy. The ability to empathize, to look through someone else's eyes, to challenge your own worldviews, to get that authenticity, and it's going to make you expand as a person, to grow as a person. And that's something I think a lot of young writers don't quite want to accept. They want to think, I've written my first novel, it is perfect, I am a great writer, I know I'm very solid in who I am, because there's an egotism to writing.
I don't want to hear anything bad about it because it's perfect.
Exactly, and I think my words are important enough that other people should pay me for them. That is, there's an egoism to writing, but there needs to also be a humility that, no, your words could always be better, you can always do better at something.
Yeah, that's great. I think that's good advice for people in general, not just for writing. Honestly,
probably, yeah.
But it's true. That's a good piece of advice. So I've heard that there's a war between you and Sarah. Do you want to tell me a little bit about that?
So Sarah Sover and I both have books debuting at JordanCon, and our editor thought it would be a fun little thing, because we have the same editor, that if we tried to have a friendly contest over who could get the most pre-sales. And our editor did not know what a monster he was unleashing, or two, because Sarah and I have... it's been a bit of the Butter Battle book, the Dr. Seuss Butter Battle book, where it's just everything is an escalation. We got to just take it to that next level. I'm a little worried because we still have a month of pre-sales. Pre-sales aren't going to end until early March.
Oh, okay.
And we're still pretty neck and neck. But we are having fun. Whoever's the winner and actually gets their bottle of alcohol. Sarah, I have to buy Sarah rum. If she wins, she has to buy me some Scotch.
Do you guys have this advertised anywhere that people can find? Or is it just on your websites?
It's been on websites. We've been kind of doing it all over social media. So we've been posting it on the JordanCon Facebook. We've been posting it on our Twitters and our Instagram. There is a playlist on my YouTube. If you search Richard Fife, you'll find my YouTube channel. And I've been curating a playlist of both of our things in order, so you can see the increasing escalation of this war. And yeah, as I said, it's every time I put a video out, I'm like, there's no way that we're going to top that. And so far,
And then
it's
it does.
Yeah, it just continues to top. And for example, the cut of the Sarah McLachlan video was, I was driving home, not even sure what I was going to do, and then it just struck me like lightning. It's like, she has maligned me. She has maligned me. She is abusing me. I am a poor abused Fife in the arms of the angel. And so that's where that video came from.
Oh my goodness, how fun. So you guys have a little over a month left, huh?
Yep. But we're still being great friends. I wouldn't.
Hopefully there won't be any animosity after this.
Hopefully not. If it's, I doubt there will. Sarah. But
That's
you should
fun,
still buy
though.
my book, pre-order, and just go ahead and buy hers at the con.
Yeah. Wait to buy Sarah's until you get there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Wait to buy Sarah's till you get there. Buy mine now. It'll be the same price.
There's no discounts or anything.
No. Although with the pre-orders, if you're not able to make it to JordanCon, the pre-orders will be shipped for free within the United States.
Oh, well, that's a little bit of a discount in a way.
That's a little bit of a discount.
You don't have to pay for shipping.
Don't have to pay for shipping and get the signed hardcover instead of the non-signed version.
How fun. Well, thank you for telling me about that. That's great. I had heard little birdies about it, but not the full details. So I'm curious, what character from the Wheel of Time is your favorite? And maybe what your favorite scene is. And as a heads up to everybody watching, there's potential spoilers.
Yes, potential spoilers. I'll try to be vague. And I'm going to cheat and say two, actually, because I have two that are favorites for different reasons.
It's hard to pick just one, honestly.
It is. When I first was reading the series, I felt a lot of empathy with Perrin and his just his constant worry and anxiety over breaking things.
Yeah.
It just hit me on a level because I am not a small person, and it is always something that was something that I kind of worried about too. So there's an empathy there, and just how caring he is, so conscious of other people's feelings. And it was kind of after finishing the whole series and reflecting on it, Egwene. Egwene is a character that has just had such a powerful arc through the series, that she went so many places and learned so much and grew as a person, which obviously is important to me. And as far as scenes go, I literally whooped in joy at that scene in Towers of Midnight, and I cried at that scene in A Memory of Light.
Yeah. I think everybody who has read the full series knows exactly what you're talking about. At least I hope.
If not, you can ask me at the con.
Yeah. Which is only 2 months away.
Oh, geez, where's time go?
I know. Isn't that crazy? This is going to be my first convention again in over 2 years, so I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, I did not make it to the summer JordanCon. And actually, not for any reason of health. It was actually it was scheduled against my sister-in-law's wedding.
Oh,
but
it's a pretty good reason.
I did do virtual content for it at least, though.
Yeah.
And I did go to one other con. I went to Multiverse 21, which was...
When is Multiverse?
Multiverse is in October, third weekend of October. And it was kind of on the tailing end of the Delta wave, but we had a very strict vaccine required masking policy, and it was a limited attendance con, and it was good to see people in person, I won't lie.
Yeah, I think that's the thing I'm most excited about, is just, it's been a really long time since it hasn't been a computer screen.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm just really excited to see so many new faces and also old friends and family.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me too.
Well, Richard, I'm going to wrap this up, but I appreciate you taking the time to do this interview with me.
Yes.
As a closing, I'm curious, what is the first thing you notice about another person?
Typically, it's how they carry themselves. Their body posture. Are they are they carrying themselves in a confident way, or are they shy? Are they tired? Are they hungry? It's amazing how expressive our shoulders can be, and that is just something that I always kind of key on first when I meet someone or see someone.
Excellent. And do you have a favorite curse word?
Fuck. I worked with sailors for 8 years, and it was the it replaced
It's
in
such a
all
versatile
conversation.
word.
It's a very versatile word. And I try to be conscious of people not being as inured to it as I am, but it is just my first chapter ends with dropping an F-bomb, just because they're sailors and they saw something that it's like, so. Warning, there's swearing in my book about sky pirates.
I'm shocked. Pirates swearing? Come on, Richard. What do you think of next?
I'm so innovative.
Well, thank you so much, Richard, and I can't wait to see you in April.
I can't wait to see you. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.